long hair combing or detangling whatnot thing on a Friday morning. Now, when my hair was like really, it's still long, but when my hair was super long, I never wanted to sit down to unbraid my hair because the length would start tangling up. And I know my mom was always like, "Oh, but your grandmother, your great grandmother, who isn't a namesake Julia, who had kneeling hair, that she would sit down to do her hair." But I'm like, I don't like doing that because I feel like I actually need to stand no matter what. Well, first off, I'm just used to standing to do a lot of things. But second off, I just feel like, yeah, it just feels like it's harder to do. Like, I feel like it's easier to do things when you stand up. It's just my thought on it. I like standing to do things. I really do. Okay. So once again, my hair got a little wet in the shower because I don't wear a shower cap. So I'm pretty far into the cycle of not washing my hair again, which is great because before the disaster, I had done the henna and I had shampooed it. Okay. What day was it? One, two, three. Okay. So I'm like, technically, I'm like 3 weeks into not washing my hair, which proves my point because I don't know. My mom thought that once my hair was a little bit short, I'd have to start washing it more again, but I disagree because I just wet it down so much. So I kind of do a Victorian, like pre-modern time idea of like, okay, well, I don't wash my hair with eggs because I'm vegan anyway. But in the pre-modern era, people didn't wash their hair constantly. I mean, and I wet my hair probably more than they did. So yeah, I just am not constantly washing my hair. And I love it because it works for me, okay? It really does. And yeah, it makes it so much easier. And after, like, the first week into washing my hair, I do put in leave-in conditioners and oil and stuff. But by week 2, I don't really have to add anything because, like, natural oils in my hair are just there. And then in the shower, like, when my hair gets wet from time to time, it's rinsing out parts of the oil, but keeping some of the oil in. And I don't know, like, some people are like, oh my gosh, but like your scalp, like you have all these problems. But I think it's because, I don't know, I want my scalp, okay? Like, I'm not afraid to put water on my hair. And actually, this is a thing, like, a lot of people with curly hair and wavy hair, well, I have wavy hair. What they do is, like, when they want to do a refresh on their hair, like, it's a pretty common thing. Like, a lot of people with curly hair, when they want to do a refresh and they haven't washed their hair in a while, like, they spritz it, which is, like, totally cool. Like, they get a squirt bottle and they spritz their hair, and it kind of just refreshes it. Well, I also, from the shower, it gets wet, but I just find this really works well for not having to constantly be washing your hair. Which is my grape jelly jam, because I don't want to constantly wash my hair. Also, it's not good for your hair to constantly.
Every day. But what causes
talking.
these little bumps?
Okay, I'm talking in the background. So anyway, yeah, and you don't have to constantly wash your hair to have healthy hair. You can just wet it. You could. I mean, I don't know. Another thing I've done is if I've even let my hair get really, really wet. If I was taking a shower and it's in a braid so it doesn't get tangled, you see? And that's another way, like, so your hair gets a lot of moisture and it kind of rinses out your scalp a bit. But the big thing that I feel like that helps to kind of cleanse your scalp every day is just gentle combing of your hair. Just the gentle process of combing your hair, like taking your time. And some people, okay, I wanted to find out the name of this comb. My favorite comb, my comb that was 97 cents at Walmart. The best comb right now that I've had. It is so durable. I've dropped this comb and it has never broke. Okay, I had another comb that I bought recently at CVS and that thing shattered. Okay, because I dropped it one time and it just shattered. And I had another comb, like a wet brush comb, that I barely had for 6 months, and it like the teeth on it started breaking off. But this comb, I've had 2 of these type of combs for like 2.5 years. I've taken them with me places in my bag. I have one, like I always clean it afterwards, but I mean, I know this isn't the most expensive comb in the world, but this comb has just served me really well. I even, like some people said that they thought that these combs might pull on your hair. So what was funny a while back was I actually, I sanded it down a bit. I don't even think that was really necessary though, but you can. But the truth is, yeah, this comb has been one of the best combs that I've had. Like, just such a great comb. Okay, so I need to go put this part in a ponytail again for my little refresh for the hairstyle. Hi. Okay. So we have our hair all in its Henna. All right. It's time to start rebraiding this section. I mean, it is a lot shorter than it once was, but hi, how you doing? kind of want to get these sections even, as even as possible. Yeah, my hair is like, how do I explain it? My hair looks more curly now, I guess, now that it's a little bit shorter. It's wavy, but it really, like, it holds the curl. So, like, it wants to curl up more. And I think, like, I suspect, I haven't done this, but, like, there's a lot of different methods where some people do things to enhance, like, the waviness of their hair. I tend to wear my hair in braids, so the ends really show the curly definition, of course. But I've thought, this is just my thought, like if I tried one of those methods, like, yeah, I don't know, people have heard like that curly girl method, but apparently there's like this new method where if you wash your hair upside down but I don't want to use heat. I'm not going to use heat. And I don't really wear my hair loose. But I'm just curious, like, how many ringlet type things I would get. But as you can see, my hair is definitely an in-between type. And I have old videos on my other channel where, yeah, my hair just started curling up on the ends more. So I was never, like, trying any of the curly girl methods. But, yeah, it would definitely have a curliness to it. It's more like wavy, but it really can get curly. Like if I kind of make it do that, and then if I like to wet the ends of my hair, it gets really curly on the ends. Just naturally, it just does that. So yeah, I do have like wavy hair, like that can really hold a curl. If that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense to people or not. But I've really been playing that up. Like I did before too when my hair was super long. I mean, I would kind of wet the ends, but I think you can just see it more pronounced now. My hair is a little bit shorter again. Not that this is short. I mean, I still have long hair, but it's just shorter than it was, if that makes any sense. Anyway, yep. Yeah, so my dad has curly hair though. Like, so what am I saying? Like, my hair can curl. It's wavy. What is my hair type? I don't know. I've never really quantified my. You know how there's that 1A to 1C, like 2A to 2B. I don't know exactly where my hair would fall. I tend to say 2B maybe, because even though, like, you probably can't tell when my hair's super long, like you could see it was wavy, but it always, like, if you looked at it in places, it could get really, like, kind of super wavy. and it's always curled up into itself. Like that's one of the natural tendencies of my hair. It like wants to curl into itself. Okay, be right back. I'm back. So yeah, I don't think my dad ever knew it. Well, he probably knew it once. He had long hair, but look, people in the 70s started growing their hair long, but I don't think anybody in his family really realized it. But like Syrian Lebanese people, they have curly hair. I don't think he knew it though. Like the women probably know it, but I don't know. Do the men know it because they wear their hair really short? My dad's family, they did anyway until he started. But I always was so envious of him when I was a kid because he would like, I don't know. First off, I've said I thought he should take better care of his hair if he's gonna have long hair. But I was so envious because like, okay, even though he didn't take the super best care of his hair, which used to like as a kid, I was like, why don't you take better care of your hair? It always bothered me as a kid. I'm like he barely brushed his hair or something, and it just was so annoying. And I think he should have used a wide tooth comb. Like if I could go back in time, I'd be like, you should use the wide tooth comb, and you should do this with your hair. So yeah, but he would get like these curly like ringlets. It was just so. I was like jealous. But I realized my hair can kind of do the same thing. So not as pronounced as his, but yeah, it can hold a curl if it wants to. Now, my mom's hair, she's mostly English, is like straight, pin straight. So, yeah. People always ask me what I am, and I'm like, well, basically, I'm mostly English and Syrian. Like, in my ancestry, there's a little bit of German and Dutch in there. And, way back when there was some, like, way, way, way back, there was some Norwegian, but that was several centuries back. Although when I got my ancestry DNA result, it says I'm 1% Norwegian, and I'm like, that is just so interesting. I don't know, but I think a lot of people actually with English ancestry, they get a Scandinavian result because the Vikings and they occupied England and the British Isles. So to me, that's kind of the reason for that. I want to wet down the ends of my hair just so it curls up a bit more. Because I just find like if I wet it like this, and I just kind of like I like to do this because there was something I discovered when I was younger one time. It was the weirdest way I discovered it was okay. We were at school one time, and they had painted this wall, and we had a PE class, and I had my hair in a braid like I usually do, and it was long enough back then. It was actually about this length now, but yeah. So we got paint on our clothes, and I ended up getting on the ends of my hair because my hair was so long. So we went to the bathroom, and I just had to rinse out, like I had to rinse out the tassel of my braid a whole bunch. And then my friend was like, "Oh my gosh, the ends of your hair kind of curl up," and I'm like, "Yeah, if I wet it, it just kind of starts drying, and it does that. It's kind of cool." That's cool. That's very, very cool. That's a very cool mix. I heard in the UK there's a lot of really good Middle Eastern restaurants, like especially in London. My friend had visited. Well, she said the first time she visited London in 20. It wasn't even. It was like in the 90s, like because she won a scholarship. It wasn't as good back then because I don't know. I mean, there was diversity, but it wasn't as diverse. She felt like on the first school trip she went, but she said when they went back like a few years ago that she was just so amazed at all the different ethnic food that you could get in London. And she was like, it's so good. And like, yeah, I'm just like, that would be really cool. I've been watching a lot of food videos like on my other channel. I need to make this more properly. Like I love to make baba ganoush, which is just something I taught myself how to make. But I've been looking up, what was it? I was reading a cookbook about Istanbul anyway, the other day. And it was talking about there's this eggplant dish. It's called the imam has fainted or something. The fainting imam. There's a Turkish name for it, but like there's a variation of this recipe in a lot of different cultures. And I found an Afghani video actually where they were making something kind of similar, just with eggplant, tomato, onion. That combination is it's really good. But I made a funny version of it last night. I'd never done it this way before in the microwave. It was interesting, but yeah, it was pretty good. It was very good. So do you have like a special dish like from your culture that you like to make, that your family makes a lot? The interesting thing like about why I'm so like I have so much English ancestry is like my family hasn't even lived in England since a long time, like the 1600s. People that grew up in the Midwest, like if you had like my dad's side of the family, they're from Syria. They were also like from Lebanon. It's interesting because it was just called Greater Syria back then. In fact, like Khalil Gibran wrote a poem called Americans of Syrian Origin because that region was called Greater Syria. Like there was Lebanon, but it wasn't a modern country. And Syria wasn't a modern country. All those countries were more just, it was a region, a part of the Ottoman Empire at that time. So that was his background. And then my mom's side just was more English, and because of, their ancestors came over in colonial times. So ethnically, it's English, but it's interesting because our ancestors haven't lived in England for so long. But you'd be surprised, Americans have a lot of, they kept a lot of customs that they brought from England. Like, American common law is based on British common law. Like, if you look it up, like a lot of the common law, like people are like, well, where did all these common laws in the United States come from? They came from British common law because a lot of things people just brought over. And culturally, they retain them. So it's very interesting. We still use imperial measurements in America. They tried to convert the U.S. to the metric system back in the 70s, but it didn't work. I don't know, because people I think maybe the younger generation understands metric better because they were taught more in school how to do that. But still, like on our signs, we use imperial, like miles and pounds and all that, But we really probably should have migrated over to the metric system by now. Just like, I don't know, like, because everybody else is using metric. And then you have to use the conversions, like, so it gets kind of annoying sometimes, right? Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you, Nada. Oh, thank you. That's so nice, guys. Thank you, Liam and Nada. That's so nice of you guys. So anyway, but yeah, I love to learn about history or just discuss history. My degree was in history, so I always kind of think about Like, okay, I don't want to teach history though. I really don't. I tried teaching with the younger middle school age kids, and I substitute taught. So I never had an interest in teaching like college or university. So my interest in history was more just I love to read and learn about it, but I wasn't interested in like an academic career. Like some people, they go all the way. They get their PhD in history. It's so admirable, but I was talking to someone recently who was working on a PhD in history, and they stopped midway just because it seems like getting a PhD in anything is just it can be very mentally draining to some people just because of the politics. And it just seems like, I don't know. It's interesting. Yesterday was my birthday. So, like, I don't. So, yeah, I don't really, like, love birthdays, but I need to try. I like these lacy tops with this part. I feel like disintegrated, so I kind of need to cut it off. Let's see. Let me hurry it up. Let's see. I'm gonna kind of. See, that's the only reason though I think I'm probably not gonna style my hair. That like I've always been curious, like would the curly girl method work on me? But I'm probably not gonna use it is because I like to braid my hair, so I just comb my hair out to get the tangles out, and then like I braid it, and I like the waviness and the curliness to come out with the braids or just wetting my hair. But since I don't wear my hair loose like a lot of people do that do the curly method, I just don't think. I feel like you kind of have to be someone who wears your hair loose to want to style your hair that way. And I don't want to wear my hair loose. Like, I just don't. Because it tangles. Even if your hair is shorter, like I've talked about this before. I don't like, I never liked wearing my hair loose. Like, I did it when I was younger, but it would always be tangle fest. And I hate tangle fest. And that's just where mechanical damage comes in. And then people are always traveling with a hairbrush, and they're like, I have to brush my hair, and they have to restyle their hair. And they're not doing it gently. Like, they're just ripping a brush through their hair so quickly on the go. And I hate that. Like, to me, that would cause so much anxiety. So I would rather just have my hair done, take my time to do my hair in a style that's protective. It stays in one place. And then some people are like, oh, but your hair's not loose. And I'm like, but what is the point of loose hair? It's just going everywhere. It's like everywhere. And it causes more tangles. And it's a headache, really, I think, in a way, because I don't want to deal with that. I need to do a house cleaning video. I just haven't done that yet. I should do something like that. It's just okay. I work in addition to my YouTube channel, so I do clean, but I want to clean more. Like, if I could clean the way I really wanted to, it'd be a lot higher. It'd be a lot more meticulous. But I just feel like, yeah. So I really do want to do more cleaning, but I will do a cleaning video soon. I definitely will keep that in mind. On my other channel, I didn't exactly do a cleaning video, but I've done like a dishwasher unloading video. I've done some cooking videos on my other channel. So if you do want to see some of that like content, I definitely have posted sort of things like that, just not exactly like a daily routine version of it, if that makes any sense. Lately, I've been seeing so many messages retracted. Did people just delete their messages? I don't know. It's so weird. I don't understand like why I get those message things, like message retracted. Okay, so I kind of want to get this side into a nice ponytail thingy. So I might just run into the other room real quick so I can wet it down, and I'll be back. Okay. All right, so I'm back. I like to do it in the other mirror. I still need to get a better mirror if I'm gonna. I just kind of like live streaming in this room more because lately, like I don't know, it never used to bother me the bathroom as much, but okay, it gets hot in California, but I try not to run my air conditioner because I don't want a $350 air conditioning bill. I just don't want it, and a lot of people here. There is no audience. Well, sometimes it depends on the time of day. It depends like on some of my other videos. There are some other people who watch and comment. Like in some of the other videos, I actually do have a lot of talking and conversation. It just depends on the day and the time. Like, so I do make videos that work for my schedule 100%. Like, first it's my schedule. And what was it? The last time I did a live stream, there were comments. So yeah, I mean, it's a good enough audience. Like, I don't push myself to bring points and back. I just do what's doable for me. So yeah, I've done some videos like that, but any video I do has to work with my scheduling. So it depends on if I have time or not. We'll see. I'm not saying I wouldn't do a video like that. I've just done some other videos like that. But yeah, I have a pretty big audience actually, and enough comments. I mean, It's good enough. It's a good suggestion. But yeah, I actually, the other day I had people talking in the comments. It doesn't have to be 500 people, guys. There's a big enough audience. I just reached 29,000, 79,000 subscribers. So yeah, I have an audience. Believe me, I do. It just depends on the video. But yeah, if I had more time, I would definitely maybe do different kinds of videos. But also, too, the goal is to be divergent from what people do on the YouTubes, to do something different. Like, I do, like, it's stream of conscious thing. Like, I don't want to be like every other YouTuber. So pretty much, like, yeah, I have time to do, like, get ready and talk video. Feels fun, not stressful, and it works with my schedule. So I'm not saying I won't do other videos. It's just, yeah, we shall see. We shall see. I always say do what like is easiest for you and fun. So I just do whatever video pops in my head, what's fun, what's easy peasy. And then I never burn out of YouTube. Like all these people that get really like particular about it, they're gonna burn out and they won't be here. Like a lot of people that had really trending channels, if you notice, they don't post anything anymore because they thought that the only kind of videos that they could do were certain kinds of videos. But if you just had fun with the YouTube and did it when you were relaxed, then yeah, it's just so much healthier. Like that's why I will never have a video schedule, because I already have a schedule for other things in life. And I already have a live stream that I do with my friend Aya Katz on Friday night. So that's my one commitment. And if you work outside the house, you have to kind of scale off these things and be like really low key fun. Well, that's nice. Look, I'll try and do a video what you're saying of what you're suggesting. I just almost kind of think a video like that is something more from my other channel, but maybe I'll do it here. We'll see. Okay, so I will definitely try and do more. I get what you're saying. You want to see like a cleaning routine video. Sure, I like the way that braid started. I guess it's good enough. Sometimes I get picky. I'm like, I want to redo you. Like, if I'm not 100% happy with how the braid's going. be really happy when I kind of grow out this U. People really look, when I cut my hair, I didn't really want it to be this U shape, but it was just because I pulled it to the front, and I should have known that's going to make a U shape, but I really don't love a U hemline. I know some people really love it. And yeah, maybe naturally my hair kind of does that, but when I had super long hair before the whole henna disaster thing, I actually liked that my hair was getting long enough that I was getting rid of that U. I mean, this is one reason I've never gotten layers in my hair, is because if you let your hair get long enough, it just kind of tapers on its own in places. So you don't need to actually, you'll never need to cut layers into your hair, because it's actually just going to do all that naturally. So I mean, and I don't even like layers really, but when you let your hair get long enough, it kind of just does that naturally. So I'll be really happy to grow out the U hemline, because I just don't love it. I like more blunt, straight across, but if you cut your hair yourself, it kind of just will do that U thing. Let's see. Just kind of wetting down parts of my hair, and then let's see. Yeah, I wish I was. You know what I decided though? I just love twin braids. I mean, it is a younger look, but I just decided I'm gonna wear it. And believe me, most people in California do not wear twin braids. Well, some people do, but I just decided I like this look. I'm going to wear my hair the way I want. And I know it's more a youthful look, but it's actually a great look for your hair, and it just makes it so organized. So I thought, you know what? I'm so sick of them saying only certain people should wear, some people think after the age of, I don't know, 19 or something, oh, you really shouldn't wear twin braids. But I'm I'm so over that, because I'm over a lot of things they say. Well, in American culture, people think you shouldn't even have long hair. A lot of people think, I mean, it's becoming more acceptable, but in a lot of circles, people think, oh, you could get any kind of tattoo you want. You could dye your hair purple. That's all good. But, oh no, women want to have long hair. Why? It's just weird. There's a lot of weirdness to it. You know what? What's hair bombing? Is that where people put down each other's hair? I mean, do whatever you want. If your stylist says you should, but the only thing I will preface about that is if you cut off a good amount, you could go 6 months to a year without going back to the salon and you're okay. Because if you look back at my old videos, I rarely cut my hair. I never had problems with not trimming my hair. The one problem I did have was when I mixed henna with conditioner, and I want to do that again. And I don't want to hate on henna. I still think henna could be good, but just personally for myself, I think my henna days are kind of over, because I just did it so much recently, and I really don't. I mean, there are benefits to doing it, but I just got to the point that I felt like it's so messy to clean. Okay, so I like to do natural henna and I'd mix it up. Like there was a part of my sink that still had a little stain on it from several months ago, and I'm still trying to get it out. It does not go away. So it's so messy. It's hard to rinse out. And then that last time I should not have mixed it with conditioner. You should only mix it with like milk or water and oil. And yes, you do need to add some sort of fat to it because henna is really drying. So yeah, I don't want to risk getting a crazy tangle in my hair again. So I kind of feel like my henna days are over for myself. Like I do still think henna can be very beautiful. I just would say don't ever do a henna gloss. And I know a lot of people say on the internet, like they mix henna with conditioner, but I think that's a big no-no because then I'll see on the same forum, people will say, well, it was making my hair fall out. And I think the henna reacts. Okay. And there's also kinds of henna that are mixed with like I know like there's some types of henna that are considered more natural, like the Syria Brazil kind and another kind. But if you look on the ingredients, it's not all henna. And there's some other ingredients in there. And that probably isn't the best to put on your hair either. I'm just saying. But yeah, just be careful. Like if you do henna, like I just feel like henna's not as bad as the hairstylists make out it to be. Now, the reason that the hairstylists don't like henna is because people want to do chemical dyes soon after. Like some people want to change their hair color a lot, which actually probably isn't healthy for your hair to change your hair color all the time. Like I think sticking more to a natural color is probably the healthiest for your hair. The only reason I liked henna for as long as I did was because it kind of gave me these red highlights in the sunlight, and it kind of does condition your hair. But over time, henna can be a little drying, and that's one thing I noticed. Even if you put coconut oil in with it can be a little drying. I don't think it's to the extreme that some of the hairstylists say. Like, okay, if you're going to dye your hair, I would say henna over bleaching your hair. If you're going to use a chemical dye, I would say henna over chemical dye for your hair. Because in general, like henna is going to be safer. But I think I just reached the point in my life I don't want to put anything on my hair anymore. Like I'll put some coconut oil on it, but I'm kind of done with, or the shea butter with the Jamaican castor oil, like leave-in conditioner. I'll put that on my hair, but I'm kind of just over wanting to put things on my hair. I just don't feel like I want to do that anymore. Because another thing I kind of hated about henna was it would just tangle your hair up. And I know afterwards people were like, well, my hair is so easy to comb out and so easy to comb. Well, you know, if you have straight hair, that's probably true. But anybody with wavy curly hair, your hair is just not going to comb like that. And yeah, my hair comes out a little bit easier now because it's not as long as it once was. But combing took a while, and you'd comb, and then your hair would want to curl up into itself again. And it's not going to be the same as just like, you know, people with straight hair, they don't get it. Like, they're like, it's so easy to comb. Like, yeah, because your hair's straight. There's nothing like curling up into itself. It just, that's the way it flows, you know. So yeah, when some people say that henna made their hair easier to comb, I don't feel like it ever did that for me. I just felt like it strengthened my hair. But if I'm really honest, I think periods when I had went a few months without doing henna, my hair became so much easier to comb because I feel like actually applications of henna dry your hair. So I don't want to hate on henna. I think it's really beautiful. If you do want to color your hair, I still say henna's safer than chemical dye or putting bleach on your hair. That's my thought on it. But this is the one caveat. I need to get going. But yeah, just be careful if you're going to do henna. Anyway, okay, so maybe, let's see. I should get going. So just be careful with the henna, guys. Like if you do henna, Anybody that's recommending a henna gloss where you mix henna with conditioner, don't do that. I don't know. I really want to educate people about that. Don't do that, because every forum, like somebody will say, I mixed henna with conditioner. It was wonderful. But then on that same forum, they'll be saying a few months later, it made my hair fall out. And it didn't make my hair fall out, but it did create really horrible tangles. Okay. The reaction was bad. And it looked really gross and goopy. And I wish I wouldn't have put it in my hair. And I was like, this doesn't look right. Yeah. So I don't. If you mix henna, you can only mix it with something natural. You can't mix it with conditioner. But I think my henna days are over. I think I've lost, I don't have any more interest in exploring the world of henna because I've done it. I had great experiences with it. It was really beautiful, but it wasn't always wonderful. Like, it was dirty, because it's a natural plant, so it's not that it's dirty, but it's really hard to clean. Like, it leaves a mess. Like, it's like you went to a mud fest, but mud washes away, and henna will permanently stain things. So I would have to buy hand sanitizer to try or rubbing alcohol, because I hate bleach. I hate the smell of bleach. Try and get stains out of the tub, because I have a white tub. And and they wouldn't completely come out. And like I said, there's a little stain in my sink still. It's not easy to detect, but I still see it. So I can just imagine somebody that's really fussy, if they had a white, everything in their house, and you did henna and you stained something in their house, I don't think they'd be happy about that. So it's messy. It takes a long time to process. It kind of makes your hair a little bit more tangly and dry. Those are the downsides. The benefits is it does make your hair feel stronger. It really does. It gives your hair beautiful highlights in the sun. Those are the two things I love. I love brown, red, dark tones with darker color hair. I'm not into I know people love blonde and they love to bleach their hair, but if you're not a natural blonde, I've just always thought, these are my thoughts on it. If you're not a natural blonde, it just doesn't really look good for your skin tone to dye your hair blonde. It just doesn't. And it's only a very small part of the population. My mom actually has what you call dirty blonde hair, sandy blonde hair, but it's not bleach blonde. And for her, it works because she's very fair, okay? And it just looks good with her skin tone. But for me, I would be all washed out. And I wouldn't want to look I wouldn't like how blonde hair would make me look. So blonde hair only, I just think okay, we started, I know people, I get it. People want to do all sorts of hair color and just be really experimental. But the thing I liked about henna is it just accentuates your natural hair color. It's not deviating from it. And I'm more onto the natural side of things. That's just my take on it. So some people want to be very experimental with their hair and do all sorts of hair colors and things like that. But yeah, it's pretty damaging. And henna won't really damage your hair per se, but you do have to be careful because it can. I had an experience. It could. And if you mix it with the wrong thing, it can. So I'm not going to be anti-henna, but I just say be very careful. Do your research. Do keep in mind that, it can create tangles in your hair. It's not this perfect little thing, but it's better than using chemical dye or bleach on your hair. And I'm not a fan of when people would tell me I should have blonde hair, I didn't know how to tell them that I'm just not a fan. If your hair is naturally blonde, I think that looks beautiful. It would work with your skin tone. But if your hair is not naturally blonde, it doesn't work with your skin tone. And it just always looks kind of weird. And I never understood why that was so popular. And people really they'd be I hate brassy tones. I hate reddish to brown tones. But I always thought brassy colors were really beautiful in hair. See, I go against the grain on a lot of things. And I'm always going to go against the grain. That's just how I think. Anyway, thanks for watching.